So today I wanted to, Hare Krishna everyone. Today I wanted to present one of the sevas which is performed at Jagannath Puri, and there is an detail which has been given by the temple sevaks. So it's called as the fragrance of devotion, unveiling the story of Dayana Seva to Jagannath Mahaprabhu. This talks about a tale of humility and the seva that is performed. So I'll start reading that. Among the myriad of rituals and traditions at Sri Jagannath Temple in Puri, the Dayana Seva, which is also called as the Dayana Offering, stands out for its unique connection with the divine. This offering, using the fragrant leaves of the Dayana plant, is not practiced at any other temple or place of worship other than the Sri Mandir, making it especially significant. The following story, the enchanting story behind this practice and devotion is coming forth now. The origin of the Dayana Seva, a tale of humility and grace. The story of Dayana reveals a powerful message about devotion and humility. It begins with a tradition where if a garland, cloth, or flower fell from the deity during the night, the servitor would place it back on them before the morning prayer. However, if the above, that is, a small floral ornament fell from Lord Jagannath's head, it was to be taken to the king. One night, a gaba fell from the Lord's head and was given to the king. But the king was preoccupied with playing Pasha, that is, the board game. The Prasada Badhu, upon seeing that the king had his right hand occupied, presented the gaba into his left hand. Immediately realizing the sacrilege, the king was deeply repentant. He considered cutting off the left hand that he had accepted the Lord's offering disrespectfully. He had his minister tie up and cut off his left hand, which they buried in the flower garden. The next day, a fragrant plant grew over the spot. It was the Dayana plant. A Dayana revelation and the birth of Dayana Seva. The king, introduced by the fragrant plant, wished to offer it to the Lord. However, the priests, unaware of its significance, forbade its use. One day the priests saw that Lord Jagannath had adorned himself with the leaves of the plant, and his inner sanctum was filled with its fragrance. They informed the king, who then learned about the plant and also that Lord Jagannath was angry for imprisoning the innocent gardener. Lord Jagannath came to the king. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, maybe your audio, maybe if you wanted to adjust a little bit, Prabhu.
Is it good now? Better now, Aditya?
Yes, Prabhu.
Lord Jagannath came to the king in a dream and told him that the plant was Dayana and that he had grown it himself. He commanded the king to free the gardener and to include the Dayana leaves in daily offerings. Since that time, the Dayana became an integral part of the offerings made to Jagannath Mahaprabhu. The king also built the garden in the name of Lord Jagannath, called as the Jagannath Udyan as in today, which is a mark of his devotion. The Dayana Chori Lila on Chaitra Shukla Triyodashi, the Dayana Chori Niti, that is, the Dayana stealing ritual takes place at the Jagannath Udyan, a palanquin bearing a painted image of Radha Krishna and Lord Gandharv travels to the garden accompanied by the servitors. Then they bring back 6 Dayana saplings to the temple. After the Bada Singar Bhoga, that is the evening offering, 3 saplings are offered to Lord Jagannath, Balabhadra and Subhadra, and the other 3 are placed in a basket. On the following day, the Sakala Dhupa, that is the morning ritual for offering, the saplings are taken in a procession around the temple and then offered to the 3 deities. The timeless message of Dayana. The story of Dayana plant and the Dayana Seva encapsulates the qualities of humility, self-reflection, and devotion. The story also showcases the Lord's ability to transform human flaws into an opportunity for the grace and redemption. The Dayana plant, a symbol of transformation, acts as a fragrant reminder of the divine's acceptance of pure devotion and self-surrender. So that is it. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Prabhu, initially, whatever you said, can you summarize, Prabhu? Somehow we are not able to hear clearly.
I can read it out, the first one again. The origin of Dayana Seva, a tale of humility and grace. The story of Dayana reveals a powerful message about devotion and humility. It begins with a tradition where if a garland, cloth, or flowers fell from a deity during the night, the servitor would place it back on them before the morning prayers. However, if the gaba, that is a small, round floral ornament, fell from Lord Jagannath's head, it was given to the king. One night a gaba fell from the Lord's head and was given to the king, but the king was preoccupied with the playing pasha, that is the board game. The Prasada Badu, upon seeing that the king had the right hand occupied, presented the gaba into his hand. Immediately realizing the sacrilege, the king was deeply repentant. He considered cutting off the left hand that had accepted the Lord's offering disrespectfully. He had his minister tie up and cut off his left hand, which was then buried in the flower garden. The next day, a fragrant plant grew over the spot. It was the Dayana plant. So I think that is it for the year. You could hear after that. I think I adjusted the audio. If not, I can read through the next paragraph.
Sure, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu, for sharing. But in between, it's breaking. But thank you for bringing that pastime, Prabhu. Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you for the opportunity to um, share my understanding with everyone today. And please pardon me if I do some mistakes. So, yesterday, Lal Gopal Prabhuji was sharing a very important elements of our strength and unity, which connects all of us like under one umbrella. He beautifully mentioned that what is like what connects everything is the Vedas that connects everything, and that the Sanatan Dharma, it is like eternal. And he raised very important, very important thoughts. And today Shubh Prabhu also, like in his beautiful discussion about Lord Jagannath, and how the king's interaction with the Lord Jagannath helped us to make a beautiful tradition. So about this, and he mentioned a very beautiful line, Shubh Prabhu, that the flaws of the human can be changed to can be converted to the devotion. So in this context, today I would like to share one of the important elements of the Vedic knowledge. The importance is the Varnashram system. So Varnashram system, and what is its relationship with the Bhakti Yoga that we are practicing every morning. Like Srila Prabhupada mentioned in Bhagavad Gita in many of his purports, what is the importance of Varnashram system. And the topic of like my discussion will be today the relevance of Varnashram system and the practice of Bhakti Yoga, and how they are connected with each other. So in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, and in the verse 13, Lord Krishna says, Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam guna karma vibhagashah tasya kartaram api mam vidhe kartaram avyayam. So he beautifully says that I created the Varnashram system. And as Prabhuji mentioned yesterday, so the Vedas are apaurishe. Like this is not these Varnashram system are not created by any mundane scholars. It is from the divine Krishna. So if something is created by Lord Krishna, so how can it has any faults? So, but over the years, the Varnashram system has been considered as the caste system or a segregation of the human society. But the thing is, we should, Srila Prabhupada used to say that Varnashram system, it's very intrinsic, and it has an integral role in the life, in the day-to-day life of every human being. It is not a basis of segregation, it's a basis of uniting one with each other. And another important thing, as Prabhuji mentioned, Shubh Prabhu, that we all have flaws. And Varnashram system help us to overcome the individual flaws and connect them so that a society can run in a better way. So one of the key elements Srila Prabhupada used to say, like when he was um, in the material world, he used to say, the 50% of my movement or 50% of the mission is still left unless we establish the Varnashram system among the society. So, how can we develop that Varnashram system is very important. So, first of all, we should understand what is Varnashram system and how the Vedic knowledge organize the society based upon the Varnas and the ashrams. So, there are four Varnas, as we always, like when we were studying in the schools, we used to say there are four Varnas, like there are Brahman, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and the Shudras. And there are four ashrams, that is Brahmacharya, Grast, Vanaprasth, and sannyasa. So these are different orders of the life, and they all have a very scientific principle. They are based upon a very scientific principle. It is not based upon the any mundane principle. So it has very scientific basis. So one of the two important features of this one ashram system is to, first of all, to sustain the human life based upon one's qualities and maintain the social balance. And the second importance of the Varnashram system is to elevate human towards the spiritual goals through which it can realize oneself, and it helps to revive our relationship with the Supreme Lord. That is our importance of the Sanatana Dharma. And this Varnashram system helps us to differentiate us from the lower forms of the life, which is the animalistic nature. But the thing is, since we do not recognize our Swadharma, we are having the animalistic propensities, because in the modern world we are thinking that everybody is equal and everybody should be treated equally. That's good in a one way, but everyone is equal in their own way. Like, they have their own intrinsic qualities. So one has to understand the importance of the swadharma. Like, first of all, I should know what is my dharma, and we should try to inculcate the trainings in one's individual based upon its own intrinsic qualities. And this is only facilitated by the Varnashram system. Srila Prabhupada described beautifully in various of his scriptures, like Varnashram system is the stepping stones for the foundation, and is a foundation system for any civilization or any society. In a society, we see that there are there are few group of people who have the very administrative qualities. They administer the things very well. There are few devotees who like to serve well. Doesn't mean that they are shudras. It means they have their intrinsic ability to serve very humbly. And some people are like who give the lectures, who gives the imparts the knowledge. They form the brahmins. And there are certain qualities of the devotees who helps to run the business. So like how to engage the devotees in different things, and how to get the funds from the um, for the temple. So all these four qualities of the individuals are tied up, so that they help each other out and helps to develop the temple or whatever the society they are working for. So we should try to understand that there's a very importance of the Varnashram system. This has a very scientific basis. And why this we see in the society, this Varnashram system. It's because in chapter 7 of Bhagavad Gita, we have seen that we uh, each individual is bound by the three modes of material nature. That is the mode of passion, mode of goodness, and mode of ignorance. We all have these modes, but certain modes are overpowering another mode, which makes the quality of that person a very unique quality. So I think the Varnashram system helps us to develop those qualities, and so that we can we can understand ourselves, and we can help us to realize ourselves in a much better way. One flaw I see in the modern times is like we try to we like to become like goats and sheep, and we just follow the trend. We don't understand what is my dharma, what is um, what is my quality, and I do not follow that quality. I just follow the trend is going on. For example, if in one sect everybody is doing following the residency, they will want to become a doctor or engineers, or they want to do pursue MBA. And these days the data scientists are very common, so everybody is going for the data science to become a data scientist. So it's like a nobody's trying to understand like what is their intrinsic quality. They do not follow that and just follow whatever the trend is going on. But that's not the basis of the Varnashram system, and that has resulted in so much chaos that is we are seeing in the present day society. And Varnashram system, if we develop and try to understand the Varnashram system, it will help us to sustain the society in a much better way. And another important in Ishopnishad, we have seen in the mantra 7, there's a beautiful word which says ekatvam anupashyatah. That means the living entities are qualitatively one with the Supreme Lord as minute sparks of fire. So Lord also says that we are one. We all are one as a minute sparks of fire. But each spark has a unique intrinsic ability or unique intrinsic quality that we have to understand first, and we need to have develop those avenues in which we can nurture those intrinsic qualities a person is having. So first of all, recognizing individuals qualities, and then trying to nurture those qualities among we have to make a system or a society in which we can nurture those qualities in that person. And this can be only be, I think, possible when we can try to develop the Varnashram system, and where people work, they come and they work according to their own nature. And one in Vishnu Puran, I just was trying to read. There's a verse in Vishnu Puran. Let me see. Yeah, I don't remember exactly the words. So in the Vishnu Puran, it is mentioned like whatever work we do, it has to be offered to the Lord. So in any ways, whatever we do has to be help us to understand the relationships with the Lord and helps to connect us better with the Lord. So how does it connect to the Bhakti Yoga? So Bhakti is transcendental, irrespective of the our modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance. So when we perform Bhakti, it helps us to transcend these three modes. But one thing we have to realize is that we as a human being are living in this material world bound with our modes of nature. We have to attain those we have to transcend these modes through the process of bhakti. But we can transcend those modes only when we can realize our swadharma, and based upon our psychophysical nature, psychophysical conditions, we can help to develop our qualities so that we can attain our swadharma and helps to develop and revive our relationship with Supreme Lord Krishna. So Bhakti Yoga has a very important role in help us to develop the Varnāśrama system and how to connect us with each other in a very beautiful manner, and also help to us to connect with the Supreme Lord in a um very scientific way. So, by following the principles of Bhakti Yoga, there will be devotees from coming from different walks of life, and they will be at any stage of life. So, Bhakti connects everyone. We can say that even a doctor, even an engineer, everybody is connected with the in the platform of Bhakti, and irrespective of their ages, like small kids to the older age, they all are connected, and they have the own one important goal is the Krishna, that we all are centered around Krishna. But still, we have all unity, but we still have our unique qualities. So bhakti help us to connect each other with each other, having a Krishna in the center. And when we try to follow the ropes of Bhakti Yoga, it helps us uh, to walk that way. And other important thing is we can regulate our senses in a much better way, so that um, we can regulate our senses based upon our Varnāśrama Dharma. Like um, if we are student life, then we have with the regulated sense gratification, we can attain Krishna. If we are in the grhastha life, we can attain Krishna based upon our grhastha lifestyle. And if we are getting older, Varnāśrama Dharma, then we can have those, we can develop the qualities, or we can nurture those activities so that we can attain Lord Krishna. And the sannyasa, if we are getting very older, we are still working based upon our ashram and our varnas, but we are still helping to serve Lord Krishna. So, if the center is one, that is Krishna is our center, our goal of the life. Even though we are coming from different walks of life, even if we are have different nature and qualities, we can still serve, and we can realize the purpose of the human life. So that's a realization I would like to share, because Varnashram system is connecting well with yesterday's topic, and it helps also to connect with today's discussion, that we all have flaws, we all have strengths, all have weaknesses, and how can we complement each other's strengths and weaknesses to realize the Supreme Lord, to realize our understanding. So that's it. Please pardon me. I'm not very good at speaking, but thank you so much for the opportunity. And I'm uh, anybody can share their thoughts. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Mataji. We really appreciate sharing your realization and all. And thank you for enrolling this devotee sharing. I see you and Prabhuji always share in the devotee sharing session from last two sessions too. Well, Prabhu, you wanted to? Okay, Prabhu.
No, thanks, Prabhu and Rachna. Thank you so much, Mataji. On those line, I was thinking, looking at Neeraj Prabhu, he's wearing a blue color coat. So that is a Varna. I was just going to ask that what happens if he goes to the wherever hospital, clinic, wherever it is. What happens? Why don't he wear a yellow color or a red color or some other pink color? Why blue color? Right. So that's his nature, and there are certain rules and principles that he has to follow, wearing that particular style of dress code. Varnāśrama system is similar to that one, where we identify ourselves and we follow those code of that particular Varna itself, like Rachna said, itself will get us close to Krishna. That's the beauty of the Varnāśrama system. But when we are in that system, we follow that system not to try to imitate something else. That's another important point. Neeraj cannot try to do the job of a nurse or someone else, whatever the others are, the administrative people. He has this duty to do. Likewise, we as a Grahastha or Vanaprastha, whatever we are, we try to follow that particular standards of that ashrama is good enough. That's the point. And so that's good enough. One should not start thinking, I always have this question from devotees coming, Prabhu, I wish I known Krishna consciousness before. I wouldn't have got married. Not that they have family problem. They're nice, whomever I spoke, they're nice family, husband, wife are really good, very good. But they feel that getting to Krishna is much easier when you don't have any relationship, especially the married relationship. That's a very immature understanding of spiritual practices or knowledge. That's not exactly what it means. There are challenges definitely in each and every ashrama. Do not think sannyasis are free of any problems. They have their own problems also. Brahmacharis have hundreds of problems than the Grahastha's problem. At least we have to deal with only one spouse. Brahmachari, you can't imagine how many different types of people they have to deal with, especially if you're staying with in an ashram. One may say that, well, I'm a brahmachari, I will not stay in the ashram. That means you're not brahmachari. Brahmachari means you have to stay in the ashram, not just because you could not, you're not married, you call yourself brahmachari, or you waiting until you find a spouse, you call yourself brahmachari. Working for a corporate company that's not brahmacharya. You have to stay in the ashram. So problems are there in all the ashram. Therefore, Krishna beautifully designed this program of Varnāśrama system, where be satisfied and try to follow that particular ashrama sincerely. We may fail at times in any ashram, but that should not discourage us not to follow the Varnāśrama, Varnāśrama. So that's the point that you brought up very nicely. I really liked. And as everyone said, Shiv Prabhu, thank you so much for reading the wonderful pastimes. Next time, just also make sure that your audio is a little more better than I was able to capture. But I think I also felt a little bit, but then was able to focus. Next time you can work on your audio. Thank you. That's all I have to add. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, just want to add a few more things. Thank you to Shiv Prabhu and Rachna ji for the wonderful pastimes and the presentation. I know in regards to the Varnashram, Prabhupada ji always says that 99% of the people in the world currently are Shudras. So even though whether we call ourselves Brahman or Kshatriya, but we are all Shudras until and unless we start the process of understanding ourselves. So that is one thing. And also Prabhupada ji has mentioned that if 1% of the people in the world starts the Krishna consciousness, then the world will be a different place to live. So I think the Varnashram system is not just like not just for the modern society, not just for the old society, but even for the current generation that we are living in is very essential. And with some efforts of some of the Guru Maharajs, I think there are certain places where the Gurukulams and the Vedic ashrams have been started. So maybe this will be something in the future as a project we should consider doing. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. I was just want to reflect on your statement on Shudra. Everyone, Prabhupada says everyone is Shudra. It is not It is not 99%. It's 100%. The reason is there's a reason behind it, because you will not become a Brahmana unless and until you go through the process of Upanayana. Okay. And before that, even the parents has to be qualified to get a child by performing a samskara, garbhodana samskara, number one. So that doesn't mean automatically a child becomes into a particular varna. The child has to work as it grows later. Upanayanam is done. When the Upanayanam is done, now also it's another tradition is it's become a religious practice to just put the thread, right? Which is good. One has to do. One should not fail to do that one if you fall into that particular family traditional system. But then the thing is that after that particular point, we have to make sure the qualities of Brahmanical qualities are cultivated and taught to that particular child to practice whatever is needed, at least something to be practiced after the Upanayana period. So therefore, Garbhodana Samskara has been missed out. That's a failure on the parents' side. And second chance is to get the Upanayanam done for the child. That is sometimes missed out. Even if it is done the third point is that the child who gets Upanayanam are not practicing even the basics. Therefore, 100% Sudras. That's the point here. So not that everyone right now in the world are Sudras, but those who practices these things, one who missed one, two, or finally at least catching up something, or was followed everything, then they are Brahmanas. If not, everyone else is Sudras. In that sense, 99% may be true. Nonsense. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Any devotees wanted to add anything? We had 6-5, but 1 or 2 minutes.
Bro, I had a question. Just on this point of
Your audio is having some problem.
Just a second. Is that better now, bro?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I had a question related to this Varnashram system. Like for example, I was born in a Brahmin family. Now the qualities which I have acquired over the years, or maybe because of my past things, it's more of a Kshatriya. So for this, like whenever an injustice happens, we see some injustice, I'm not able to tolerate that. So, but I was recently listening to the Tirupai sessions. Over there, you mentioned only 3 people are allowed to give that kind of punishment. One is Srimati Radharani, Sita, and Dharmaraj. So as a Kshatriya, because of our introspection over the years, what I should do, I mean, there is some contradictions in that. What should we be doing? Should we go ahead and give that proper justice to the person, or just let ourselves also tolerate that injustice? What should we do as a Kshatriya?
Intolerance, okay. The first thing I just want to point out, the three people who only has rights to correct us are the Universal Mother, that is Sri Mahalakshmi or Sita Devi, whatever your Ishta Devatas. And the second one is the Yamaraj. The Yamaraj has the right to punish us. Third is Guru. Guru also has a right to punish us. So anyway, that's just a small correction. Now, intolerance of injustice that are you able to hear? I'm little away from the little.
You are able to.
So the intolerance towards the injustice that's happening and raising our voice does not necessarily is the only quality of Kshatriya. That should be the quality of everyone, in fact. That should not define whether I'm this type of Varna or not. Well, Kshatriyas, there are Kshatriyas who are sober, we've seen from the histories and stories. There are Brahmanas who are passionate, right? So those are not the defining factor of whether I belong to this particular Varna or that particular Varna. Prabhupada's teaching is basically, or overall the teaching basically from Bhagavad Gita also, irrespective of whichever Varna you are, cultivate Sattva Guna. That is not an optional thing for any Varna. Cultivate Sattva Guna, that is applicable on that particular basis, right? Following strictly on your given space, not to go out of that space. So that's the simple answer for thing, not to change or think that because I'm born as a Brahmana now, my nature seems to be more Kshatriya. Very good. Utilize that things in making, there are all the Brahmanas many times, even if you take the story of King Vena in Srimad Bhagavatam, very obvious. The Brahmanas got really upset and angry. What did they do? They just chanted mantra and killed that king. That is, Brahmana killed king. Why? They want to, it's injustice. They see things are not going well. So we got to punish this king or somehow or the other. And they also not only punish, they came up with a solution. That's another part. Right? They came up with a solution of providing alternate for the citizen to be who can be the next king. They worked out all this thing very nicely. But if we are only in the program of punishing others, I'm not telling you in general, if you're only in the program of seeing the justice and punishing others, not trying to find a solution for the long term, then that means naturally we are more of a Shudra's nature rather than being Kshatriya or a Brahmana. We are reacting to the situation. That is the nature of a Sudras. We just react to the situation. We don't think about if I react to the situation, what's going to happen next. Whereas the Brahmanas will think if I react to the situation, it's going to have a ripple effect. So maybe I should be prepared for providing some solution, right? Like this Brahmana story, then this group of Brahmanas are advisors in Srimad Bhagavatam. Helps, bro?
Yes, bro. Thank you, bro.
Thank you. And Krishna, you very well know, Krishna says very clearly, also, don't try to do someone else's role, be what you are, and develop those things. If you're Brahmana and you have those qualities of a Kshatriya, utilize those things in Brahmanical way. That's all.
Yes. Thank you, bro.
Thank you. Anyone else want to share anything before we Shanta Mataji's?
Yeah.
It's a little.
If no one is there, maybe we can conclude this session. We'll meet again tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you. I just wanted to share. Thank you for Rachna Mataji for sharing so nicely. It was very nice to important message how we should connect with everyone, having Krishna in the center. So I really thank for that message. And yeah, uh, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Seems Rachna Mataji dropped, so you can leave the message in the group, Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.